Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines 2, playing our city of Second City. It would probably help if I unpause the game. I think that would be useful. All right, so this is what we're looking at. This is Orson Farms from the last part, and I want to go ahead and make some small edits just right off the bat. My goal for today, I think, is I want to start filling out Orson Farms. That's going to help inform kind of how we continue to grow this as we keep building. What I'd like to do, I'd like to, if possible, remove Orson Farms from touching this other district. What is this district? Woodland. And then we have Cedar Junction, Harley, Linden Park. Is this Amberwood? Oh, Amberwood. I can't remember what I said it was last week, but it's Amberwood is the proper name. All right, let's go and clear this out. What I want to do, and I'm going to use the intersections as kind of my node points, I think. I think that just makes a little bit more sense to me, lining it up there. I'm going to kind of reduce the size of Orson Farms so that it is just connecting to kind of this area. This whole section will be considered Orson Farms, I think. Let's just zoom out and see what we think. No, I think that's just a bit too large because this is really the size of kind of more of a suburban district, and I'd like this to have some serious density. So let's instead take this all the way along Thornton. We're jumping right in today. Last episode was a strange one because the recording did not work as planned. This recording does work. I double checked. We're all set and ready to go. Oh, my mom's texting me. All right, so this is Orson Farms. It's still pretty beefy in terms of district size, especially when we compare it to some of these other areas. So we may reduce it in the future, but I think we start with this. I want to go ahead and I want to place some key walls along our edges here, and I want to force all of this zoning to the proper direction. I know there are mods that do this. Honestly, guys, I'm struggling with getting some of the mods to work. Some of it's my fault. I don't have the patience. So that's why I don't have them downloaded, because I don't feel like it. All right, so we're going to place all these here. That's great. We're going to focus for the moment right here, because some of this we're going to be able to rush through a little bit, in that I'm going to just zone the crap out of it. So let's go ahead and do this. We're on normal speed. We do have a ton of demand. So what I'm thinking is, let's use our marquee tool. I only want to send these at most 4 back. Go ahead and place them 4 back along there, along here. This is going to quickly exhaust all of this demand, which is exactly what we want to do. Okay, they're all 4 back. Now I'm going to switch over to maybe some of this guy. Fill in some of these openings that we have, just to switch it up a bit. I already placed that one there. Maybe over here. No, we'll let that be. Now we'll just do a few more fill-ins here, just so we get some different style buildings throughout. I do see that there are trees kind of unfortunately in the walk. Couldn't tell you why. Ooh, we'll take those 3. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to get a bunch of new guys there. Let's also delete all of these trees that are in the road, because they should not be there. Looks like it's only that little section. All right. Getting some residential. Now, I was looking at the trains. While we're letting this zone in, I wanted to have something happening in the background. I was looking at the trains before I started recording, and we do have one kind of issue in that it would make sense to have a train station up here that would then be taking people from the airport down and over. But I think we're kind of accomplishing that with our subway line. However, I do want some type of infrastructure over here that I could expand on. And because we've got these train lines going under here and then coming back out this direction, and they're really well placed and developed, I don't necessarily want to mess with them all that much. So I think we're going to not do a regional rail train line over here. And instead, I'm going to do a bit more work with the trams. We used them down here. We've got a tram line that goes down this direction and cuts over. Then we also have a tram line that comes up this direction into the center of the city and goes all the way up and ends over here by Parker Incineration. So we have two really strong tram lines. Let me see if I can find the depot. Here she is. 15 vehicles, and we're using 12 of them. If I rely on just that, we're going to run out of vehicles. So why don't we do this? Let's just build out a tram network or tram station over here, a depot. Now, certain areas are flatter than others. It is what it is. We're doing our best. But what I think we're going to do is right here along Cooper Street, I think we're going to place a tram depot. And I think I'm going to place it here so that the entrance is a bit more center on the road versus being right up against that edge of Cooper Street. Now, let's go back over here. Let's click on double tram tracks. Let's go to upgrade. I also would like to keep this on if I can. This whole road here is going to be a tram road. This whole road here is going to be a tram road. I think I potentially want to rework this bridge. I might regret this. Yeah, I might regret this. We're going to do it anyway. With Anarchy, we're going to delete all of that. We're going to grab a tram road. We're going to grab straight. Keep Anarchy on. And let's go right from here, straight slope, directly over to this point. Although I guess I need to do the road first, and then I can upgrade that road. And if we're making these upgrades, hold on, let's consider, do I make this road larger? You know what? I don't think I do. I think we leave the road as is, and if that proves to be a problem, we will pivot. Although we could also place a 4-lane tight arch bridge, a bridge here. We also have a 2-lane truss arch bridge, which I just think looks nice. Like, if anything, it just looks pretty. Because we could do this guy here. How does that look? If we were to upgrade this into a regular road and upgrade this into a regular road, it looks stupid. That looks real dumb. Okay, undo. Let's just do a regular road. Let's keep it real simple. Straight out from here, straight over to here, just like so. We will then upgrade this with tram lines. So, upgrade. I may be able to turn Anarchy off for the upgrade. I cannot. We will leave it on. That is fine. Let's give this whole thing tram. And I am going to bring the tram even into here. We'll bring it down this main road, over this direction, back up, and back over. That doesn't seem to have ruined all that much. But now we have a kind of a little roundabout, a little bend, if you will, in Warehouse Bend. This tram line is then, without Anarchy, is then going to, I think, kind of cut through the center here. Although we already have a subway line. Or we could have the tram line kind of go this direction. It's not really that far of a walk. So some of this is a bit kind of preemptive in the planning. But I think that's okay. Because if I were to take this and bring this straight on over, we could also do something like this. And then send it straight on over. Okay. And I'm trying to allow this to be a little bit funky, which is what we're trying to go for. All right, I think that this is going to go up this direction and connect into here. For the moment, it's going to stop there. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense because we just built over here and this isn't really connected to anything, but it will all work in the end, I swear. So this gives us a new means to expand upon our transportation infrastructure without having to worry about getting the trains over here. But now that we have this, we might as well add some stops along it. Can I place stops without destroying those buildings? Absolutely cannot. All right, we're going to put on Anarchy again. We'll place a stop here. We'll also place a stop over this way along this side. Okay, we've got 2 stops there. You're going to then turn. There's a stop here. You can just walk over to the tram. You cross the bridge. And there will be 2 stops right here around this intersection. You'll come up and over. There will be 2 stops right here. One will be about here. And one will be here. Because I don't want to place it along this particular piece. We'll send it up. We'll do another set of stops here. One here and one here. And then for now, that's kind of where it's going to end. So we will need to loop this around so that it can get back to itself. Because right now it can't. Oh, no, I guess we don't have to. We can just stop it maybe here and then send it back down. I think I know how to play this game. I think. I'm trying to make sure they're not interrupting the entire crosswalk, right? So if they're stopping on the right side of the road, they won't stop with their tail in the intersection, which is what we don't want. Remember, don't block the box. But yeah, if I click back on this, I'm not able to reconnect to here without ending this loop somehow. This is what I'm referring to, and I have to make those little loops because I cannot connect without this going forward and turning around. All right, and with that then, we will just make a tiny little loop in a circle right over here for now. It will not be a permanent addition, but it will allow us to get this guy moving. There we go. Can we try this again? You're going to go from here all the way over to here. You're going to stop here. You'll stop here. You'll stop here. Here and connect right back up and in. And then let me just make sure these are connected up. You'll stop here, which if this is a subway line, it's really not super far. But I think by having just a little bit of tram connection, that's valuable. We could even consider bringing some down here, but we're not there just yet. It looks like for the most part, our townhomes have filled in pretty nicely. I truly don't know why some of these trees are not disappearing and are just staying inside of houses. There we go. We got rid of all that. Now, behind here, what I want to try to do, let's see if we can do this. I didn't really measure. And it might not work on every spot, but it will work in some. If I bring this forward to here, place that there. Can I do the same here without destroying buildings? I can. Invalid shape. What do you mean invalid shape? Let's see if I turn anarchy back off. Can this work? It can. If I turn off that connection. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, well, it allegedly did not work. That's okay. You know what? It's going to happen. You guys got to change out. So now we have parking behind the building. Okay. Okay. Hold on. I'm getting excited. We got parking behind. I guess I could have done alleyways. They're a little bit smaller. Let's do an alleyway here and see what we think. Let's first get rid of the key walls that I had placed on here because we don't actually need them anymore. You know, while we're doing it, let's just remove them all. Because I'm going to need access to all of those roads. Okay, all that's good. You don't need to have key walls either. It's going to cause some houses to disappear. Let's see if we like this better. We've got angled and we have perpendicular. But if I were to take this and bring it straight on through, I am going to still have to ruin a house or two. But maybe it comes along this way and goes along the back of this guy. Do I like the sidewalk better? Or do I like the alleyway better? Looking at it longer, I do think I like the alleyway better. I think that might be the better play. So let's keep doing the perpendicular alleyways. And what we're going to do is we're just going to lean them up against... I was going to say one of the houses, but really this one could go in the middle here. And I'm going to make sure I alternate the parking, right? So now this one will go this way, kind of straight on through the back here. That's fantastic. And here, I think we're going to do the same with this. We're going to actually get rid of all this. Let's place a parking alley right along the backside here. I don't want any zoning on this, though. Which now that just makes it a really tiny one-lane alley. That's okay. Let's also place some buildings along here. Should they be townhouses or not? I think they would. I think these will go 5 back just to switch it up a bit. We'll place a few in here that are not the same type. Okay. Now, with that, I can remove the zoning back there. That's a one-way road. Great. So, with all of that in place, it means that in front of the houses, and I know this has been a comment every few episodes, and this is actually a really good comment, and keep reminding me, but I need to place more trees and more grass and make the neighborhoods feel a bit more lived in. And to do that, I could put trees on the roads. But I had to have extra parking because these townhomes do not have enough space to park on their own. Okay. See, Orson Farms is already becoming a great place to live. Now, right in the middle, we absolutely need to do some business. This would be 2 separate businesses, but this could be one big one. And I do have some demand for this. Why don't we do NA low density business? Let's just see what pops in there. Nothing popped in here, but that could be corrected with a small little park maybe. Do we have like a little tiny guy that reaches all the way back? I don't think we do. Let's do a urban pocket park because I think we can make that kind of blend in with the rest of the things we're seeing here. We're going to see what happens. I was really thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I was really thinking we'd have more like 6x6 buildings in here. That was kind of my vision. These would be larger. Well, I guess the width could be anything, but I do want the depth to be pretty decent. Let's come down here. Not EU commercial and not high density. NA commercial gas station. Exactly what I'm looking for. Precisely what we want. Let's turn off the snapping. Let's see if we can place this right in here and have the parking along the roadside. Right? Right? Bam. A little gas station. Let's limit it to level 2s because I don't want to go too high and too crazy and then things not work. We also have the option for this guy. Do we have a 3x6? We could do 2 3x6s. So we could have this kind of fast food place on the drive coming away from the airport. We also could do another 3x6 right here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, see, this is what I'm thinking. This is exactly what I'm thinking. Let me just quickly make a few small changes to these surfaces. I want them to connect up. I know they won't actually use them, but if we could pretend just for a moment, that'd be greatly appreciated. We'll pretend they can drive all the way through. This guy actually looks pretty good. Yes. Yes. This is what I'm thinking. Now, there are some things that will need to change. There's entirely too many crosswalks along the sides here that have the parking. We can have crosswalks at the main intersections, but I don't think you need them in those smaller intersections at all. I did see another dead tree here in the road. Could not tell you why. Is there any more? Not that I immediately see. There we go. All right. That's looking pretty nice. They're still filling in. We're going to see what happens here. Let me just quickly give this a little bit of tree, a little bit of tree coverage, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Okay, we've got trees. These guys are starting to build. We've got one small guy. How close is this? 92%. These might turn out okay. I just like the depth of these larger guys. While those keep going, we do have opportunities to do a little bit more here. So let's go ahead and add in a retaining wall just so that we can get more zoning, and then we'll undo that. The NA low density is the base. What if we do the, I think we do the northeast low density, only because they have the wall-to-wall pieces that I really think will look nice in this area. Unless we get all the same building, which then could be a problem. That's all we're getting? All the same building? We're gonna have to double check this, because that is not gonna work. Okay. This is not bad. Okay, we have another large gas station, kind of a competitor to the one down here, and they look a little different, which is nice. I don't necessarily mind these. I do think, however, I would want to change out this surface. I think if we did this, this should just all be this kind of gray surface here. And we can even add the same thing here. Okay, didn't work. Just let it be. Let it be. Don't even fuss with it. All around, though, not too bad. It's just a business corridor here in the center, which I think is exactly what we want there. Maybe along here, I place a little parking lot. Is it going to ruin these guys? It is. It is, but we're going to do it anyway. Because I think that makes total sense right there, although it's not flat. So it doesn't make sense at all. Hold on, hold on. Now I'm just getting out of hand. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. This is a 1, 2, 3. Let's just place a different piece over here. How about this guy? That's basically what we already have. This is a 6x6. That's a big building. It's a motel, which we know is not going to get filled. This is a 4x6. I think we're going to do this. I think I want to take this guy, turn this off, and place it right up here on this corner. Then, get rid of this entirely. Instead, fill this guy like this. Get rid of this as well. Get another large piece there. Great. Great, great, great. And then this we can pretend is a little park. And we're going to do that by first putting down a little grassy surface all the way along here, just like so. Can I place a path on top of a grassy surface? I think I can. But in reality, I don't really know. Great. And then whack down a few trees. I'd say it's perfect. I'd say it's perfect. And now we've got this like bright pink consumer's apparel. Great. All right, so Orson Farms starting to get a little population in here. Where are we at in terms of residents? We have 1,445 residents. Let's just take a quick peek of these local services. It's being served by the Cedar Junction Post Office, which is located all the way over here. It does seem to be doing okay, although as we continue to develop this area, I do think I'm going to want to have my own post office up here. So let's go ahead and grab one. I wouldn't mind doing something a little bit different. We did a lot of these regular. What if we do like the EE post office up here? Because maybe this could fit right here in the middle. Like, look at that. Look at it. Would you look at that? Would you look at it? Boom. Orson Farms. Right now, you're only going to work in Orson Farms, and that's okay. Do we want to add some post boxes anywhere? I'll place one over here for now. That'll be good enough. You're also being served by Woodland Small Police Station, which is right over here. At the moment, that's probably fine. Although I could see us needing a larger police force in a minute. Alexandria Medical Clinic. Wait a minute. That's what's serving you? Alexandria? First of all, that's in Denny Ridge. This is not an Alexandria Medical Clinic. This is Denny Ridge Medical. He can't even spell. All right, that's Denny Ridge Medical. And Denny Ridge Medical is no longer going to serve Orson Farms. Orson Farms is actually going to get itself a brand new and exciting hospital. I think we need it. I think this guy's like way too large. This is not at all. Oh, but we could like have this like historic hospital across the river. We have, is this a hospital here? This is the Amberwood Japanese Hospital. It's kind of just operating everywhere. I wouldn't mind having a cool hospital up here. Maybe this EE hospital. The only challenge is going to be the land does change height pretty aggressively. If this is here, is that too close to that neighboring hospital? I believe it is. So I think for now, we don't place a hospital. We place one up here somewhere in the future. I think that'll be okay. You also have access to the Orson Farms fire depot or firehouse, which is working just fine. And you have access to that new post office. Great. Also in Orson Farms, I would like to consider some death care. We will do a cemetery. One of these guys. I think these look really nice. I think we'll place it right along here. And although expensive, we will also give it both add-ons. It's only going to operate in Orson Farms, but this is going to become a part of our park. I don't know why these trees are not deleting themselves. I'm not going to fight with it all that much. So while I'm talking about the park, we might as well build out the park. So first things first, I actually want to delete these trees. What is going on? Just delete them all. Why are you doing this? What I want to do is I want to build a small parking lot area right here, but I want to build it with the parking lot roads. The only thing I don't like is it gives them all names. I really wish they didn't all have names. Why don't we just make this simpler on everyone involved? And instead, let's just do some pre-built parking lots kind of right along the edge here. Like if I were to turn off snapping to the road, we rotate this guy. Now, it's going downhill. Some of the surface is going to get messed up. That just is going to happen. Turn on anarchy because they're technically overlapping. And just bring this surface all the way down and in. Okay, so we've got a decent parking lot kind of right next to what is going to become kind of a community park. Let's place a path to denote the end of the park area. Anarchy does not need to be on for this. And it can just be a straight path. Like so. Let's also mess around with this surface so it doesn't do that chaos. There we go. Get these guys to fill in here. Perfect. So there's our parking lot. And that is going to help serve some of this park. Let's give this a quick balding. Hold on. All right. Now what we're going to do is give it some pathways. I'm going to use not anarchy. We're going to snap to everything. And we're going to use the continuous curve. And we're just going to give this some nice, simple curves to get people in and around this area. Just give it a little something, right? Okay. Are we a fan? I'm a fan. Let's go ahead and just plop down some grass. I could get into doing like mowed grass, but I think I'm just going to do regular. Great. And then let's just give her some trees. Keep it simple. Nothing outlandish. I didn't say it was going to be the world's greatest park, but I just want to have a little kind of manicured section for the villagers. The villagers. Can you tell by the words I'm using? I've been playing a lot of Foundation recently. It's just been so relaxing. I've been able to unwind after a long day, and I'm like, all right, nothing can really go wrong in this. You can run out of food and stuff, but even that, like, it's not a big deal. All right, now we got a little park. Beautiful. We do need to consider how education is going to work in these here parts. I think one thing we will also do is before we do education, let's get some more zoning going. Just so that... What? Why? No. Just so that we are using our time wisely. I still want a lot of these row homes, I think, right along here facing into the park. I think that's kind of a cute idea. So we'll do a little bit of this here and here. Let all those zone in, but now that gives us a few more people. Unfortunately, they face a parking lot, but that's going to be necessary because we also don't have schools here in Orson. The closest high school is this guy here, which is not filled. So we could add Orson Farms to the operating district here. I think we're going to be able to support a lot of people there. We are halfway full on our USA Southwest Elementary School. And I think I wouldn't mind placing another elementary school over here. Is that the biggest thing we have? Could also do something like this, which is not bad. Yeah, that might be the largest school we have. Oh, no, here we go. We have this guy. So I think we place an elementary school over in this area. Although, hold on. Hold the phone. Oh, wait, doesn't this have like a track? Wait a minute. A playground. It has a playground. The community elementary school, this, although small, is quite cute. It is quite cute. I was wanting something big here, and I was thinking it could be one of those buildings, but now I'm looking at it, and I don't actually know if it is going to be. Let's place the school, the community school, right here next to Lilac Lane. It's right by the main drag. It can also receive a field that we can place maybe across the street or right across the Lilac Lane. I think I like across the street. And then we also have an extension wing, which is a unique add-on, which at the moment we don't need. Okay. Look, it's starting to come together so quickly. Now, when you get over here, we're still going to have some medium density buildings, but I could see this area kind of being that transitional section where we start to go from medium density into some of the townhomes. So what I'm going to probably start with, let's see. Let's do this. Along Elm Street here, let's place a row of houses. Let's also place a row of houses here. I'm going to use a little pathway and see if I can just kind of interrupt what's going on there. Good enough for me. Place a few more houses there and get rid of that little pathway. Why? Why? Oh, that's fine. We'll build a small guy. That's okay. So we'll get a few more townhouses there, kind of mirroring the new townhouses we have right there. Then I think right behind this is kind of where we're going to start to see some of this change to support some larger homes. I have not built waterfront housing, I think, in most of this city. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place some pretty large waterfront housing. If I do a 3 wide, will the whole thing fill out? Or is that a weird shape for this? Because now no one's zoning. Getting a lot of 2s. Specifically only 2s. Okay, let's try the regular. If I do a 3 by 6, nothing happens. If I do a 3 by 5, does something happen? If I do a 3 by 5 with that one? If I do a 3 by 4? How about with this? What if I went like that? Am I having that weird bug where all of my buildings only zone 2 by 2? There's no way that the waterfront housing only has those small little guys. Waterfront housing, 2x6, 3x6, 4x6. See, I knew I was being bamboozled. Let's do NA residential. We'll just search this ourselves. Or we can even just set it to North America. I don't necessarily care about the building level per se, but I do want the lot depth to be 6. So let's go ahead and grab this like nice 4x6. We can grab a 3x6 as well. It's going to be quote unquote dense, but they're going to be larger homes, I think, along this road here that has our tram connection as well. So actually it's making me think about this. I don't agree anymore. I lied. Because if our tram is here, I'm going to want to have some density along this road that maybe I don't have elsewhere. Maybe what we do is... I would love to know what's happening here, where we're only getting one specific weird type of housing. And then, frankly, at this moment, we're getting no housing there. Why is nobody zoning? Like, what happened? So many open jobs, so few workers. Plenty of open jobs in the industry sector. PM me for details. All right, guys. If you're going to say there's plenty of open jobs, can you show me there's plenty of open jobs? Homelessness rate, 0.8. Unemployment, it's 14. So I don't know if there's so many jobs. I think you might be lying there. All right. I don't know why this is not working. Do any of you work? Literally anything. That worked. And it gave me some interesting shapes. Is it these roads specifically are the problem? Am I the drama? All right. I'm getting slightly distracted because I'm now trying to solve this problem that I don't understand why it's happening. Is anybody even on this? 4 people. 1. We have any others going along here? Looks like there's only 2. Oh, no, there's a 3rd and a 4th. 4 and 1. Great. Keep up the good work. More trees are popping in. What's happening with my game? Where are these trees coming from that are growing in the road? All right. Orson Farms has got all that. That's looking nice. Let's just keep working at it and chipping away slowly but surely. I could get into having a larger little business over here. And I'm thinking what we do. USA Southwest mixed housing. Let's place a guy here and let's just see what we get. But that might fill nicely there. Right? That might fill nicely. This did give me exactly what I was afraid it was going to give me, which is literally all of the same building. Do we want to try that again? One more time for those in the back? No. You're doing exactly the same tomfoolery garbage. Get out of here. Well, now, actually, that looked relatively decent, but whatever. Let's go ahead and mix this up. Let's mix it up. Let's get crazy. Let's do a 5x5 with Southwest. Okay, it only goes that far back. That's fine. I'll forgive you for that. Let's go ahead and get me something decent. Okay, it's that building again. Let's go get here. Great, 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 great. We got 2 different things there. What if I went with just a 3 back? Would we get anything fun? And maybe a 2 back. And then we can cap it with a Japanese building with a really white roof. There we go. That's going to tank any demand we have for commercial, which is great. Let's then go ahead and think about a little bit of office work. Now, I was going to put offices over here. I also was thinking we could maybe consider upgrading some things over here to have some more offices. I don't know if we want to do that. Maybe we place a few offices right in here, or this could be a park and the offices could go right behind this area. I don't think that's a bad idea. What if... The problem with this is like you have to be so intentional with all of your placements for things to work. There we go. I have to like remember to cut certain sections off with the key walls and then put the key walls back and yada, yada, yada. All right. I think this center section, although we have this park here, it's not giving us any real buffs. So I think what we do is we fill this section with a park as well. I'd love a dog park, although not as big as she was hoping. I think we can anarchy this right here. Go with me on this adventure. We anarchy it. We also place 2 basketball courts. Then, with B, get in here, get rid of this fence. Get rid of these lights. Bam. We now have like a little park right there in the middle. All of this here, we can't really do commercials since we're kind of struggling to fill the commercial opportunities we already have. But, whoa, loving that. Loving that. This is the Southwest. Southwest, that's exactly what we're looking for. Exactly what we're looking for. Maybe I forego placing the density there and instead I place it along here. And this is in fact like big houses. Turn off anarchy. I want houses that are all 6 lot depth and up. I want them to be North American. I want them to be a minimum of 3. Let's snap to the road. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and start filling in this area with some decent homes. We'll place this guy here. We'll place another one here. We'll place a 3rd up here. This is a 3x6. Place one there. That's kind of running into its neighbor, which is not ideal. That's basically the same. So I don't want the same house. That's different. We also could do this guy. That's a pretty one. Far less modern than some of these other ones. These other ones are quite modern. And I'm not too concerned all around with the level here. Like, we're going to get what we're going to get. I do wish there was more of these kind of, like, classic American style homes. Because I think those look really great. But unfortunately, we don't seem to have a lot of those. That can't fit, but this can. A little bit large, but I like the idea that we had to have a large house in there. We'll place another large one there. Now let's do depth of at least 5. Okay, because then those can go behind. So we'll go in here again. We'll pick this one to start right here. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll place a second one of those if I do say so myself. Bam. Let's go ahead and do a 4. Is that going to fill that whole thing or do I need a 5? 4 is perfect. It's basically the same house as that one. We'll place that. We'll place this one. Give me a waterfront. Give me a nice big waterfront one. Come on, where are we at? Bam. Beautiful. Beautiful. This all looks pretty decent. That looks pretty decent. I don't think I could really fit many more over there. Let's just zoom out and see what we got. We kind of drop right away into some of these regular style homes. Let me just throw in some trees and see what that does for the neighborhood. Yep. 100% no edits. This is beautiful. I'm a huge fan. I love that. So we're kind of getting to a place where we can start transitioning into a little bit smaller properties, which is something we definitely want to do. I think right in this strip here, I think we could really benefit from some more business. So what I think we're going to do temporarily, let's throw on anarchy and just block all of the building off of Elm. We can probably squeeze one more out there. We can. And let's just fill all of this. Let's do Southwest. Actually, you know what? I think I want them along the diagonal road. Turn anarchy back on. And then all of this can have offices here. And let's see if we get anything in there. It's saying it's not right, but I think it's just because they have not actually updated yet. Once that kind of corrects itself, we should start seeing some offices. Any offices? Do I have the road set up correctly too, by the way? If I go into my one-ways, these all go this way. They all come down this way. Yeah. Okay. It is somewhat right. Let's go ahead and get another set of these houses in here. I think this could look so nice filling out this area here. Before we do, we will need to figure out if we want to add an extra road in here. I think we might. I think what I might go in with is an alleyway that will go straight up to here, and then it will come over and connect at the 90 right into here. That way we've got a number of areas we can fill out with these larger homes. And then along the main road, I'm going to fill it with trees along this particular version of Amity Street. I think we have an Amity Street in like every single part of the city. And then we'll go back over here and just place a bunch of houses. So these are the 5 deeps, which I'm fine with placing some 5 deeps. Place one here. That one is beautiful. This one's also beautiful. And I'm just going to go along and click one of each. I'm not going to be super pressed about the levels. They will level up with time. We'll even change direction for that one. But we don't often do these types of houses. And so I'm liking kind of the shift here into using some of the waterfronts. Let's also upgrade this to level 6. I am going to definitely place one here on this corner. Let's go down to 4 and see if I can force one in. I can't really, but I'm going to make it work. And instead we'll replace that. Right here we will get another 6. Is there a 6x6? We've got semi-detached UK. Very different style all around, but could be a nice change for the area. Yeah. All right. Needs a few more trees. Once it has the trees, that's when it's going to look real nice. Hold on. Bam. Now, I will say in doing this, I'm wondering if this is even considered Orson Farms anymore, because it's just changed so much from what it was. But I think maybe the next community here can be, I think, like a rich, fancy community that really starts to separate that density out. I don't really know yet what to do here, but along this road, I think I want to have something unique, something cool. If we go in here, do we have any interesting buildings here? We have a cafe, but it's like a French Parisian style, which I don't think is really going to work. Let's stay up here at the top and see what we have. We have a Grand Dynasty Hotel. Problem with this, first of all, is that nobody wants to live in a hotel or stay at a hotel. But if I were to place it here, which it would work facing this direction, what does it do? -1 import costs, +1% city attractiveness, and 5% well-being. Doesn't seem to cost anything to place, and I'm just curious what it would look like if I did it. It looks like garbage. So let's get rid of it. Really, it's just the height change here is so drastic. Do I want to have a key wall this time? I think I do. Along this side of Elm Street, we are going to key wall this. And the reason for that is that this changes in height just a bit too much for my liking. So if I reduce this brush size, grab this height, can we place this all along here and it not look absolutely chaotic? To put in parking lots and keep things looking, build out more zonable lands, like that happens. So this isn't that unrealistic. It is a little tall, and it does make me question, like, how nice are these houses if you have this type of like plateau right there? But I think I'm going to reclaim this. I think we're going to keep it. I think we're going to keep it. It does beg the question then, do we go back and build this like hotel dynasty thing? Because then you also then have a hotel overlooking all of those rich, fancy residential homes. Okay, that doesn't work. There's a Riverside Grill, which we could think about. Espresso on the go, the Lobster Tail. There's another kind of Parisian building. Some of these would work, some of these would not. Yeah, I wouldn't mind something a bit larger. Like, give me something big. Horizon Lounge. What is this one? Shard Arena? Competitive esports. Okay, that's just freaking cool in general. What if this was over here? It would fit. And this was farmland. So because it was farmland, they were able to get in here and build something like this massive. They had the capacity. The neighborhood didn't mind. They were like, sure, why not? Go ahead. The land is cheap. Okay. Shard Arena is going right there. We're going to extend this grass texture all the way over here to the edge. It's across the street from this guy. That's totally fine with me. I do think, and it's great. Oh, it's next to a subway station, which is also fantastic. This adds 3% attractiveness citywide, 5% entertainment citywide, 1.5% well-being in 1.5 kilometers, and plus 100 entertainment, which is very cool. I think I want to have a little bit more medium density residential right behind it. Before we can do that, let's get rid of this. We'll leave that one. I'm gonna mulligan this. I don't think it looks... It doesn't work with these houses. I think in general it looks fine. I don't mind the look. I think what I mind is that it doesn't necessarily work with these fancy houses next door. Because then it's like, are those houses really fancy if they live next to this massive wall that just stares down upon them? But it does flatten out this section a little bit so that we could do this. We could come in here with some offices and let's just low density office in kind of a major way right along all of this. Let's let some big guys zone in. We just unlocked Principus. The companies working in the modern office building not only make sure that justice is served, but their efficiency actually helps to reduce crime rates in the neighborhood. That's exciting. Let's let those guys zone in. This is going to become, I think, a little bit more office focused there in that sector. And I think part of what's going to make this fancy is if this area was actually just to have a ton of trees. Like if I were to come in here and I were to, even with anarchy, reduce the size of this down to about 40. Let's give it a few clicks. I'm going to have to go back and adjust this. That I know. There we go. Now, let's get rid of all the offensive ones. All of you guys must go. You must go. You must go. I am going to say you have to go, as well as you two, as well as all of this. That guy. All the ones I just decided to place here. And then the few that I placed over here in this road. All around, though, that's not too bad. All right. I did end up losing my grass. Let's turn anarchy back off here along Amity and the trees along Amity as well. So now those are back in play, which is great. And that's kind of feeding into the forested area there, which is fantastic. Back over here where we were, let's do this. I want to have parking behind it, but because this area is not really touching the other roads, we're going to do a 2-lane perpendicular parking road, and we're going to send that straight along the back here just like this to this point. We'll then connect this up with a singular alleyway. We'll just send that kind of straight into the middle here like so, and then we'll come in here and we will do more of these guys. I'm going to let these kind of zone however they feel. They don't have to be perfect, and that's okay. I like this little idea. Oh my God, this CO10 condos. An exquisitely decorated red brick building that celebrates its developers' first decade in the business and radiates warmth and welcoming vibes. Warmth and welcoming vibes. For some reason you don't work, and for some reason you don't work, so why don't you guys just get out of here? Let's place a few more trees and begin to fill up kind of this area here with a little bit of foliage. Can I sneak any in there? Not really. All these are the same. Why is it doing this? No. 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 It's wrong. I'll fix it myself. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. You know me. I can't handle it if it doesn't look good. And the way to make it look good is not by just slapping down some crap buildings. All right, we'll fill it in with some smaller trees here just to kind of wrap it all up in a nice pretty bow. Beautiful. And looking at it, I think that can also get a key wall. That's a reasonable key wall in my opinion. Do we have people using this? Nobody's waiting here just yet. That's okay. But Orson Farms, I mean, it's really coming along from what it used to be. We now have 2,500 residents, nearing 2,600. And I think we have just a few more sections to fill out before this area is done. So let's go ahead and place some businesses in here. Originally, I wanted to do offices, but I think I'm going to move those further north. So let's go ahead and do some of these guys. There you go. You're not overlapping anything, first of all. Get out of town. Second of all, cool it. Cool it, buddy. All right. Send that over there to fill in that area. I think for this side, I am going to grab this grass and just fill in the remainder of this with some grass texture all the way back to here even. Which I think is pretty decent. There we go. I know I have anarchy on. That's okay. We will survive. Let's go ahead and get rid of these trees. So we've got our first building facing that direction. I want basically all of this to be like drive-thrus and things we don't necessarily have elsewhere. Let's try to get saucy with it. Let's do no width, but we can do 5 back. Let's see what other options we have. We have this guy. If I turn anarchy on, it still is not going to let me place along that road, so I will do that by hand like that. What does that look like? That's a very fun-looking building. Very fun-looking building. Okay. I'm even going to take this further then. Fill this with this grass texture to here. Let's extend that texture to there. And if I'm doing this all by hand, actually, I can just anarchy remove this and let people be able to walk through there. Just because I think that makes sense to me. Okay. Another exciting building. Let's see what else we've got. We also have this building. Now we're starting to get to the point where things may be getting too large. 5 might be too deep. So let's switch over to 4. My thinking here too is all these are along this side of the road and these ones are along this side of the road. So together, regardless of what side you're driving down, there are business opportunities for you to patron. We'll place a little fast food joint for sure. I hate that building. That roof is just atrocious. She's just a square. She's just a girl. And I want it to be good. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Let's fix all of these surfaces. But yeah. Like a very, very American commercial strip. Tons of businesses. Basically all selling you the same thing in different packaging. And that's perfect. That's perfect. And it just, it does everything we want. We do need to clear out this particular piece, which I'm okay with doing. Turn anarchy back off. Let's do just a few trees if we can. I'd love one of these and one of these. Perfect. But now we've got a lot of business along that center strip. We've got decent parking here, so I can't really complain about this. They're not making any money, but they'll survive. We've got all of our new dense housing there. This section does need a little bit of detailing. And then I think it's time we consider what the buses look like now that we have a little bit of development to work with. Don't you worry. I know you're sitting there thinking, he's not going to do any buses. This is ridiculous. Doesn't he know how to play this game? I do. And I wanted to make sure that we had things in place first, right? I didn't want to just rush into busing without the proper pieces in place. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Let me just also make sure we've got services before we jump into buses. So we're choosing not to have any type of medical care here because we're going to build a hospital on the other side of Bluebell Street in the future. We have death care. We're covered by garbage, and our processing status still looks pretty good. We have an elementary school. Let's see how she's doing. Getting up there. We'll see if we need to change that in a bit. We have the opportunity for an extension, which we could do. You are also covered by a high school, a college, and a university. I will say, this here is a secondary school, so this is a high school. This is a high school. Over here we had another school. We don't have a university over here at all. And so I wonder if, to partner with whatever new rich neighborhood we're going to add, if we should also add in a medical university or one of those kind of guys in here. Now, we have this tree farm right here. I think what I want to do is I actually want to move it. It's a level 5, isn't it? Oh, it's only a level 2. Okay. Get rid of this tree farm. Okay. It's going to go right here, so it's not going to go very far. But I think it's going to just be in a better spot. Because it's going to be kind of hugging things that are nearby. It's an old farm. We never got rid of it. It's a part of this neighborhood, and they weren't allowed to cut it down. Now, efficiency 118, but there's no trees in here. I don't see a single tree. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to just plop down a nice smattering of trees in here on my own with anarchy, because it's not going to let me do that otherwise. Boom. All right, we've got trees. It's looking pretty good. A few in the road, but all around, not too bad. And so now we're gonna leave that there as kind of a part of this area. This is also looking very nice. Very cool. Okay. Great, 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 great. Look at all this development we've done so far. This is kind of wild that we've accomplished all this today. Like, that's crazy to me. All right. This area here doesn't really have much going on for it. I could see us... Turn off anarchy. I could see us trying to get just something in here that would have a semblance of height to it. So what if I went ahead and I just got rid of all of these trees here that used to make up a divider between a farm and our small little firehouse. Would we be able to nestle this firehouse in the middle there? We could not. We could not. It has to go there. I'm going to maybe just jump it over to the other side of the road. I think. I don't need any of these trees. Get rid of all that. And then I think in here we're going to have just a little bit of density that we don't see elsewhere. Or actually right here could be a nice spot for that as well. Or we could also do a nice park. There's options. We're getting options. If I were to do a park, I would want to do this one because I think this just looks really fantastic. I'm realizing though I can probably have my cake and eat it too, in that we could, using this continuous curve tool, connect up and in to here. And here, we can connect up and in right to here, right? And just incorporate that park kind of into that area. It would mean this section here will get a few more trees. We're just going to place them quickly, because we've still not gotten to the busing. I'm just realizing I did forget. I did forget that time. That's on me. All right, then right here, I kind of want to place specifically the USA Southwest medium density. I want to place a big guy here. I'd love to have one big guy here as well. But if it's going to do that, what if we do this and we just delete both and see what we get? Are we still going to get just like two little guys? All right, so then let's do this instead. delete both of these, remove this. That is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 4. I basically want the exact same house. And I want to place it right next door. So we're going to have 2 of these. One's going to be zoned correctly, and then one's going to be an addition. But I think that's going to add a little extra height in the long term when these guys upgrade. That will be very much valuable and appreciated. Put a little bit more of this tree coverage back here, just to round this area out. And the only other thing before we go into doing our buses is I could see these guys needing some type of parking. And unfortunately, I've left little to no space for that to happen. Little to no space. One parking option I have is an underground parking station, but that is probably overkill. And I think a multi-level parking garage could work just fine in a neighborhood like this. So I wonder if we consider placing this multi-level parking garage like right over here or somewhere further down this way. This is a small parking lot. Oh, this could work out really nicely, actually. Like, this could go right here. It's going to change the land a lot, but in a way, it almost looks like it's built into the hillside. Yeah, it looks like it's built into the hillside, even though we just carved our way right through. But that's some parking that can be used by these apartment buildings, which I think is great. Orson Farms is looking magnificent. Not entirely sure what's going to happen over here just yet. But I think I'm ready to move on from Orson Farms in terms of building and switch over instead to our buses. So we've got our tram line kind of running through the city, which is great. Let's go ahead and also place over here some kind of taxi depot just while we're over here and in the area. I think that can't hurt. We could then also place a taxi stop maybe up here along this road, kind of in between those 2 alleys. If you need to get anywhere, you could go to that taxi stop. And we'll place a taxi stop right up here in front of our airport, kind of right in the center there. Then we're going to want to do some buses. So I'll also place a bus stop right up here. That bus stop will come down and into this area for now. Eventually, we'll think about a bus that connects into this other part of the city, but I'm not there yet. Let's have that bus stop come down and in. And part of me feels like the bus would use this center road. So the first stop it's going to make once it makes this turn is going to be right here before this light. Then these are going to look close together, I know, but just bear with me. It's going to stop here. It's going to skip over this parking alley, skip over the main road, skip over this parking alley, and stop at the next main road. Alley, main road, alley, main road. Can't do that without anarchy. And I'd have to go pretty far down to make it work. So I'm going to anarchy this in here on my own. Then this will come further down. It's not going to stop here, but it will stop right down here. You only have to walk a block from here, or if you're here, you can walk a block up, or you can walk a block over. That's perfect. Here we'll loop around. We're going to come back up. We're going to stop right here. We're going to go ahead and anarchy this in because I don't want to mess that up. And then this is going to come up and stop, I think, right here. It'll also stop right up here. And then this can come back over this direction. And before this light, it can stop here. For now, that will do. We're going to go from this guy over to here. And none of this is really that far of a walk. Now, when we add more buildings on either side, maybe that's going to change that calculus a little bit. But I think overall, that's pretty decent. We could do some serious work here along the riverfront. I do think I could get into maybe going ahead and capping this off with a key, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I also could see just having the medium density buildings kind of really fill in this whole area. I'm not sure. But I think for today, this is where we're going to leave this part. This is the new Orson Farms. If you remember, it was a tiny little farming village before. And now it's got some massive buildings. This building here, this Shard Arena, so cool. This is so cool looking. Shard Arena, there's an art gallery in it. Like, that's amazing. 140 attractiveness, 287 employees. Did we make a dent by chance in our... Delete. Did we make a dent in our unemployment at all? 14.7. So still the same. But we're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're going to get this, kick it into business. I am going to fill that area with concrete. I think that just caps that corner pretty nicely. But then this looks great. Orson Farms is our newest neighborhood. It's decent in size. And I think is only going to get more exciting as we begin to build out, I think, a richer neighborhood right back here. They got easy access to the city, but they want to stay a little bit removed. And I think we build a few more buildings here, including some maybe low density or low income housing, as well as some other amenities in that riverfront. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end this part here. A quick shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the link in the description below to unlock custom emojis, loyalty badges, early access to videos, save game files, members only content, merchandise discounts, and more. And until next time, leave your questions, comments, and feedback down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Lorelai, follow your dad out. I can't have your tippy taps. I can't edit them out.